Move over to Bristol Motor Speedway. There's a new Coliseum in town. So, yeah, we got a big news announcement or a big news story to talk about. So let's get right into it here on this episode of Running with the Pack. So, as I said in the intro, we may have a second Coliseum style racetrack coming to NASCAR. Barring any further COVID lockdowns, I think it's probably going to happen. NASCAR.com's been reporting it. I believe The Athletic was the first ones to report it. So, yeah, we've got ourselves the LA Coliseum looking like it'll play host to the non-points clash, moving from the Daytona Road Course, which had previously moved from the Daytona Oval. Honestly, I like this idea because you're putting the clash at a track that is nothing like what the season will probably open up with the Daytona 500. We don't actually have the official 2021 schedule. I think this may be the last kind of domino they're waiting to finalize to publish that. But yeah, so from an optics point, at least initially, it sounds like a great idea putting NASCAR in the Coliseum. Around now, the problem there are some problems with it, and I think it's definitely not an all-around positive. But putting NASCAR in the LA market, where they really haven't been for 2 years now, because the last time they raced in the LA area would be the only time they race at the LA area is Auto Club. And we haven't been to Auto Club since 2019, so... Oh, wait, no, we raced there at the beginning of 2020, so right before the pandemic was the last time NASCAR was in the LA area. Then all of 2021 we've been away from it. So, it sounds like they're trying to get back into that market in a big way, and with a short track, too. So, I think there's a lot of positives to this. You have a big market, fairly centrally located. You've got another short track on the schedule. So, definitely a lot of positives. Yeah, going into this announcement. But I don't think it's all sunshine and rainbows. And let's get into at least one of the question marks. So, assuming that this is the opener for the Clash, and let's say it's 1 week before the Daytona 500 like normal, which would be the week right after the Super Bowl, even though that wasn't possible this last year. The question I would have would be the logistics of getting the NASCAR teams, all like 21, 22 of them that are going to be eligible for the Clash next year. Or even... however many are eligible for the Clash, to get them all to get equipment all the way to California, just have to be back in Daytona for the biggest race of the year. Because that was kind of the fun thing about the Clash, is that it didn't really feel like it was a major expense on the team's front until they crash all the cars. But they didn't have to move all their equipment, take all their people across the country to cross back. The teams could all be there. They could have a set team working on the new product that they're getting ready for, while the driver goes out and crashes their old car from. So yeah, that was definitely that's kind of one of my question marks, is if it is right before the Daytona 500, are the teams going to be okay with that extra travel, especially since that was kind of a big portion of why we didn't have practice or qualifying for much of this year. And in fact, we aren't going to have practice or qualifying up until we go to Phoenix for the finale this year, is the fact that, hey, we have ourselves a situation where there is They didn't want to. The teams were worried about the extra cost of having to fly everybody to the track days early for practice and qualifying. Honestly, I think that could have been dealt with just by having like a one lap qualifier session before the race. But and then I guess the cost of backup cars was also a factor. And again, I guess what happens if they have a crash in practice or qualifying for the Clash at the LA Coliseum? Would they have to? I guess they would have to bring a backup car for that. And you can't just have, like, say, 4 Daytona 500 prepped cars just in case you crash in Clash practice, the Clash race, and Daytona 500 qualifying, or your dual race, I guess. And then I guess the question would come up is, then would they, because they traditionally would qualify during the day at Daytona, and then would go to the Clash cars for the Daytona Clash later that night. Would that be the same format? Yeah. Just, like, on paper, it sounds like such a great idea. It's just there's a lot of numbers that would have to be crunched, and hopefully they're crunching these numbers and they're making the right decisions for the race teams. Now, obviously, I think like, you have a good number of cars that would be able to make the trip no problem. I think your 3 to 4 Penske cars, if you're counting the Wood brothers, so 4 Penske cars, 4 Hendrick cars, 4 Gibbs cars, I think those teams would be able to do it no problem. Trackhouse would be able to do it no problem with their 2 cars. But beyond that, would Roush be able to make that kind of investment? Especially since Newman is locked in by virtue of being a Daytona 500 winner. Would Front Row Motorsports with McDowell be able to make the trip with the fact that it's a with the fact that it would be a that he would be a Daytona 500 winner, so he's locked into the event? Just a lot of smaller teams with question marks like that. So, and then again, the question mark of when would pole qualifying be? When would the because would you put pole qualifying back on like a Wednesday midweek? Then you'd have the duels on Thursday, like as usual. There's a lot of question marks that need to be answered, and so far I haven't seen any of these answers kind of posted anywhere. It'd be a lot simpler if they used the Clash as a way to introduce a West Coast swing to start the season. Actually, ironically, if you go back to a really old video of mine, I actually did a schedule breakdown, ironically for the 2021 season, which started with Sonoma, Auto Club, Phoenix, Vegas, Texas, and then having the Clash in Daytona 500. Now, it would still be around the same time, but starting earlier in the year, since the West Coast is, especially the southern West Coast, is warmer. Yeah, so I don't know. I think this could very well work if the Daytona 500. I think this could work very easily if the Daytona 500 is not the first race of the season. If they start off the season with a West Coast swing, I think this scheduling works miles better. I mean, no question that I think it works better if we have the West Coast swing starting off the season as opposed to the Daytona 500. So, I guess let's hope that the Daytona 500 isn't the season opener next year, and that we can just get a week of practice mid-season. Or not even mid-season. I still would like it to be in the first half of the season, because that'd be a little weird to see it as like the regular season finale. But yeah, so I mean, it sounds like a great idea. And then kind of my other question mark is how big would the track be? Because football fields aren't all that big, and they'd be racing essentially around the perimeter of a football field. So would it be what, a quarter mile? Less? Does this open up possibilities for other shorter tracks um, that are not a half mile or bigger for NASCAR to maybe go to in the future? Looking at U Slinger Speedway, looking at say, well, I think Five Flags is actually a mile and a half, or is a half mile now. But yeah, does this open up the possibility that we could see some shorter tracks in NASCAR potentially, especially if this race goes well? Or does this become the equivalent to Bowman Gray, where we tear up every single car before the start of the race almost? And it's more of a demolition derby than an actual race, because that is also something that I could very much see happening. It's a lot of question marks, but we do at least know that it sounds like it's going to happen. So NASCAR's finalizing the deal with the LA Coliseum to put the race there. Hey, on the plus, I'll leave you guys with a positive though. Before we go for the, is that hey, it'll look a whole lot like the Los Angeles International Speedway from the Cars movie. So do with that as you will. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting news. Definitely an interesting idea. I hope the logistics work out because it sounds like it could be a crazy event. It sounds like it's going to happen, and it sounds like it could work out pretty well from what I've mentioned, assuming that they have factored in what teams will be in the race. But hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you guys are new so you guys never miss an episode. If you guys want your name up on the in the column over there, please feel free to check out that Patreon link in the description and support there. It really helps out the channel. Also, while you're down there, there is still the promo code active through the end of today as of the time of recording this. The promo code should be on your screen. Promo code Sunset for 10% off your order down at my Teespring store down in the description. So if you guys want a Ryan Dyer t-shirt, Running with the Pack stuff, if you guys need a face mask with rising pandemic-related restrictions, we've got it pretty much everything covered down there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video, live stream, whatever you guys decide to do with the rest of your day. Have a great day, everybody, and goodbye!